I 3D printed my flexible bobbins, the bendable, foldable bobbins, which I've got to wind the coils onto, and they're very thin, but they have to be, and otherwise, because if they were thick, I won't be able to bend them because, well, all the wires would double up, and you've got to be, so I can stack them once I've got them. I've actually printed two, but it looks like there's three pieces there, but these two pieces stick on to the ends there, and I printed them like that because it's a lot smoother surface. I don't have all that horrible support material which would scar up the surface and make it really rough, because whenever you print it with support material, you're having to file everything down. So that's the bobbin hold, the winding thing. I put the bobbin on top like that, and that's for winding. So then I can just screw that. Basically, well, what it does is the bobbin sits on top of a pedestal which I've got in the other room. I stick this over the top, and then there's a hole in the middle, and I have to drill that out. I don't know if you can see the hole, it's very tiny. I have to drill that out, then I put a screw in and clamp it down, then I wind the coils in between the little wafers, like that. So that's that. So they're very bendy. I'll show you what I mean, how bendy they are, because this is the whole point of having foldable coils. Now if I just angle it, you can see how easy it is to bend. It bends in the middle there. So I don't want to bend them yet because I don't want them curling up on me while I'm winding the coils. Once I've got the coil on there, then I can bend them. I can bend them up and shape them more or less like this thing, which I did on a piece of cardboard, which is got painter's tape wrapped around it as well, just to stop anything from any of the wires. But yeah, it's very messy winding it on a bit of cardboard. It doesn't give me a lot of versatility because the hole's blocked as well because the cardboard's all the way through. But these new bobbins, yeah, it's going to be fun winding the coils on there, because I've got to print a lot of these because they're stackable. So basically I'll have a whole bunch stacked on top of it, but they'll all be bent sort of in the same shape as well, the coil. So when I squeeze them in the middle, you can see that it bends easy. Oh, now I've got them curled, you see. I don't want to bend them yet, because if you bend them too many times, it will break them in half if there's no coil there to hold them. You're supposed to shape them once you've got the coil wound on. Then, yeah, anyway, so you get the idea. But it's supposed to be bent once. Anyway, I can use acetone on the, if you look, I've got stretch marks on there now, which is no problem anyway. It's still, I made it thin so that it would easily bend at that point in the middle. And yeah, so I've got to assemble the other one now. So I'll try and show you how I do that, if I can do that without the phone falling over. I need some weight on here. Hang on a minute. Where's the lens? Oh, there's the lens. Right, the lens is there. So if I put some weight on the back of there, actually, I think my spanner should hold it. That should stop it from falling over. Right. So what I'm going to do, I get the two pieces, or the three pieces of my bobbin, which is all been printed. Oops, I dropped one on the floor. Right, so I get my knife. I just need to trim up that bit of stuff on the inside because there's a little bit of where it was stuck on the printer bed. So I'll just get rid of that. It's easy to do it while it's in pieces. Just want to put this thing together. I'm using acetone, so right, I'll clean that up. I'll just clean the other one up. I'll a bit. Right, so I get the main one, which is the bottom, which bends, it's the foldable part. I just want to trim that up a bit because there's some stuff where it's stuck to the printer bed on the base. So all I do now is get my acetone, which is in the syringe, and I get my other piece and line that up with the bottom and just put a bit of acetone around the join where the two pieces come together. It's actually easier to do it on the inside. Come on, it's coming out now. Bit of acetone on there and hold it together for a few seconds. It's not like super glue. Super glue is great, but it's too quick. I mean, it would stick the thing together before I was ready and got it positioned right. So this is the best way of doing it. Right, that piece is now going to bond permanently to the other half as it's already sticking now. And I get the other half of the bobbin and hold that above the, get it lined up. Just need to line up the edge so that the edge is dead flush with the other one. I'm getting my acetone, put a bit of on there, a bit on there, on the other side. Now I've got that all coated, I can just hold them together and leave them overnight and to dry basically. I haven't got it lined up right, so it's stuck to my finger. It's that sticky, it really is. It does work well. Right, I don't want to squeeze them too much because if I squeeze them together too much there won't be any room for the wire. You see the plastic goes all squishy and I didn't get enough acetone on there. Right. Right, so that's that. Now it becomes one, just like the other one. That's exactly what I did with the other one. And so once this is dry, I can start winding coils on. I can't wind the wire on yet because it's a bit too delicate and it would just rip apart because the acetone has to dry out. I need a bit more on this other side actually. This needle is literally just big enough to fit in there. Right. Sticking to my finger. Right, let's check the other. Got to make sure there's the fibres, the filament plastic is soaked right through so that it makes a really good bond. Right, that's all done. That needs to dry because it's sticking to my hand. The other one, did I do? Let me just check that one. I did okay. Yeah, that one's alright. Actually, yeah, there's the one I did before needs a little bit more acetone on this side. Looks a bit weak. Oops. Right, that's that one. We'll check off the extra bit. Don't too much on there so it'll all go soggy. Right, and then it'll be no good. And as that dries, I can put it on the winding base just to make sure it's all lined up properly, and it is. Yeah. So basically I've got to make a load of these. So I suppose I can get the thing that I'm going to put it on. Hang on a minute. So what I'm thinking of doing is using this, which goes on my reel-to-reel, the adapter, put the coil on top like that, right? And there's a hole in the middle there where the screw goes, and I just put that on top. Put this on top to hold that bobbin in place, and then put the screw in to hold it to stop it from spinning around. There should be enough friction on the bobbin. Anyway, it won't squish it too much because there's a plastic piece in the middle, and that will go and hold on to the top of there. Then I can start to wind the coil on once I've screwed that in. If I need a bit more packing on the middle piece, it's easy enough just to put some double-sided tape on that middle holder piece, and then it won't skid when I'm winding the coil. It'll just grip. The double-sided tape will just be sticky. So then I can just basically spin it and wind coils on, and then that's how it's going to work. And yeah, I'm just checking to see how it's drying. Yeah, it's all lined up. And then when we've got the coils, then I can just literally fold it into the shape I want, which is a C shape, or basically like a rooftop, basically like that. So I thought I'd show that. So I've got two now. I'll let them dry out. I was gonna, before I print more of these, I'm just gonna test these out. I'm just gonna leave them overnight to dry out. They'll probably curl a little bit, but I'm not worried, because once I start winding wire on them, the wire is going to push this out a little bit anyway. But I don't want it to be curled inwards because it'll catch on my wires. So I'm just going to get my tweezers and just bend them corners out a bit, because I don't want that drying, curling inwards too much. Otherwise the wires get caught and they go underneath when you're winding it, and that's really annoying when that happens. It's very bendy, which is what I want. Right, so I'll just let that one dry. I'll check the other one again. The other one's not, this one's not too bad either. I think that's going to be fine. It's the corners where the wire can catch on and go underneath. So yeah, so I'm probably going to start with 2, and then I'm going to do probably 10 of these. 10 of these will probably make one stack of one coil, basically. And they'll all be bent to the shape. And yeah. So short live stream, and when I put my clamp on here, it'll hold everything perfectly flat while the coil's being wound. So I'm not too worried about the curl on it. Right, mustn't leave it on there while it's got acetone, so it'll stick permanently to that. Oh, there's double-sided tape on there. That's why it was sticking. I wonder why it was sticking. It's just a bit of double-sided tape that's still on there. So I probably don't need double-sided tape even. So it's going to work fine. Anyway, that's it really for now. The 3D printing model that I was doing earlier came out fine, but I always got the option of making, if when I wind the coils on these, if it turns out I can bend them quite easily with a wire on there, then, and I don't get too much buckling of the wires, then that will tell me that I can actually make these a bit thicker, so I can put extra wires on there. So I'm really starting thin to work my way up to a slightly thicker coil. So these are going to be very thin to begin with, but at some point I want to see if I can get these a bit thicker, and I should be able to get them a bit thicker than that, but it's a test, it's an experiment really, so just to see how things go. It's not a big deal to make them thicker. Right, let's pick the camera up. And what I found out was the because of the shape, with the coils like this, with them being in that shape, there's less drag because the tips of the coil is more where most of the power is generated, and the flux is focused to a point. So as the flux is entering, the magnetic field has a narrower window to enter the coil, so there's less drag because the edge of the coil, the opposite side of the coil, is actually a different pole, if you think about it, because I've got the coil in this shape. Instead of it, so that the inside would be effectively a north field, and the outside on this side would effectively be the south field. So the south field is basically endways or edgewise to the rotor magnet. So that's why I'm thinking, well, it does appear to give less drag. So that's what I'm testing out anyway. That is the whole point of this exercise. Anyway, that's it. I can't see the clock on here. Oh, 17 minutes of video. Right, okay. Right. I'll see you later, alligator.